Hey YouTube, what's up? This is Thrash Till Death 555 David, and I am back. And of course, why am I back? That's because it's that time of the year again where I'm doing my favorite albums of 2024. So first of all, Happy New Year to everybody. Hope you had a good 2024, and like me, hopefully you enjoyed a lot of the music that came out this year because there was a ton of great releases this year. Before I get onto my list, as always, this is my list. It is not yours. Please do not bother complaining that there's something on here that you don't like or, whatever. However, if there is something on this list that you think is missing that I should check out, please, by all means, leave it in the comments. I'm always cool with hearing whatever you recommend that I possibly missed out on because I'm only one person and I can only listen to so much music. So, yeah. So, before we get on to the list, I would like to go through some honorable mentions first, and I'm actually going to be looking at my phone here, just you know, just in case I forget. So my first honorable mention I would like to give is to the new Immortal Bird, Sin Quinrencia. Probably saying that wrong. But yeah, the new Immortal Bird album was really fucking good. Unfortunately, the reason why it's not on this list, I just didn't get to spend quite as much time with it as I would have liked. But yeah, it's another great album from them. Just a mix of many different metal styles, all packed into one. And yeah, good stuff for sure. And the next one I would like to shout out is the new album from Zampantli, Beating the Drums of Ancestral Force. This is a 20 buck spin release. This is, I believe, their second record. I'm pretty sure this is not their first. I've never listened to their first record. I was not familiar with them until this. I saw this release on the 20 buck spin, roster. But yeah, this is really, really cool death doom that's like Aztec themed, very sinister, creepy at times, just really savage, primal, uh, awesome experimental type of death doom. Yeah, I've never really heard like a death doom that incorporates like like tribal and like kind of elements and stuff like that. And yeah, sometimes when these just some of these drum beats, it sounds straight up like fucking just war drum beats. It's really cool stuff. And the last one I would like to shout out is Sinistrum with Infernal Dawn. This is actually a band from my neck of the woods over here in Kentucky. And this is just really, really awesome, like thrashy death metal. The guy, the bassist from Blood Curse, if you're familiar with that project, is the vocalist in this band, and he also produced it. And it is an excellent production job for an independent release. It really, really is. Makes me happy to see metal of this quality coming out of Kentucky. Of course, we have a few here, but Kentucky is we're definitely not known for our metal very much over here. But we got a few great bands, and Sinistrum is definitely one that I am glad to add onto that group of bands. So yeah, check that one out for sure too. Now we are going to get into the actual list. All right, so first up, we are going to go with Acerus with the Caligulus Serenade. This is on, oh no, I already forgot that. Oh no, this is on Brandon's label, Nameless Grave. Yeah, so Acerus, this is their third, fourth album, something like that. It's the guy from the Chasm. This is his heavy metal project, and it's just another solid album from them. If you've heard the previous albums, you kind of know what to expect. Just like this kind of really cool, like arcane style themed heavy metal. Really, really good stuff. So Acerus with the Caligulus Serenade. Next up, we are going to go to Upon Stone with Dead Mother Moon. This is a Century Media release, I believe. This is some really, really cool melodic death metal. I found this release from watching Banger. Daniel DK did the album review, and it just sounded like something really, really cool. What I really liked about this Upon Stone record, which, by the way, this is my introduction to him. I'd never heard him before this. But they're kind of like, they're like a little more on the, it's a little more raw and aggressive compared to like your typical like Gothenburg mellow death sound. So much more raw and aggressive, and I really like the vocalist. It's like he's like this punk grind kind of vocalist where, you know, he's doing like these grindcore highs combined with this just killer melodic death metal. Lots of awesome, just really cool melodic solos on this, and just yeah, it's just furious and does not let up until the album has concluded. And it's a pretty short runtime, but I don't think it's one. It's one where you can just, you know, kind of play it over and over again, and also contains a pretty cool cover of Misfits' "Dig Up Her Bones." So yeah, Upon Stone, Dead Mother Moon. Next up, we are gonna go to Null, As Spoken. This I found from watching this YouTuber called Hammerheart Metal Reviews, and he described it as a kind of like Anal Nathrak meets Portal. And that was, you know, that's what got me to check this out. And I listened to it, and I can definitely agree with that sentiment. This is definitely kind of like if you took those two bands and put them together. It is extremely sinister, terrifying, chaotic, absolutely batshit sounding at times, especially this fucking vocalist. This vocalist sounds very inhuman at times, but his delivery is great. The music's very well played. So if you're into this, if the idea of, like, you know, Anal Nathrak meets Portal sounds appealing to you, you should definitely check this out. Again, this is a band that I had never heard previous to this release, so another cool band discovery as well. So no, As Spoken. Next up, we're going to go to Sovereign with Altered Realities. This is a Dark Descent release. I believe this is their debut. I hope I'm not screwing that up. I could look it up real quick, but I'm not going to. But yeah, a killer Dark Descent release. This is some Norwegian death, like progressive, you know, death thrash, kind of like if you took, you know, Coroner and Voivod and mixed it with like fucking Demolition Hammer and Morbid Saint, that kind of vibe. Really, really awesome stuff. The riffs are fantastic. It's extremely tight and well played and just awesome stuff. Highly recommended. Yeah, you know, Dark Descent, they never disappoint. So yeah, Sovereign, Altered Realities. Next up, we're going to go to Spectral Voice with Sporagamos, Dark Descent. Once again, I was definitely eagerly awaiting the next offering from Spectral Voice, as I'm sure a lot of us were, and it does not disappoint. This is probably just as good as Eroded Corridors of Unbeing. You know, still extremely just dripping in decay type Death Doom, dark, sinister. Like they're just pushing you further and further down into this endless fucking abyss. It's absolutely just putrid, sinister, you know, Death Doom. It's what you want from Spectral Voice, and they deliver here with their second record, Sporagamos. Yep. Next up, Judas Priest, Invincible Shield. The Metal Gods return, and I don't know how the fuck they still do it, but Judas Priest is still giving us songs that are still fresh, and just this band just sounds like they're having a blast and just show no signs of stopping anytime soon. I got to catch them on tour with Sabaton this year in May. That was killer. It was my 5th time seeing Priest. Judas Priest is officially the band I've seen the most amount of times now. But yeah, I think this record is fantastic. Maybe Firepower is a little bit better, but so many great songs on this one. As God Is My Witness. Shit. Oh no, I'm forgetting the track names now. But yeah, plenty of bangers on here for sure. You know, the Metal Gods do not disappoint. So Judas Priest, Invincible Shield. Next up, we're gonna go to Skeletal Remains with Fragments of the Ageless Century Media release, I want to say. Skeletal Remains has put out a ton of great albums, and they continue to do so here. Just really cool, old school death metal with some thrash here and there. Really, really honed in on the heavy Morbid Angel vibes on this album, I felt. But yeah, the playing is tight, the musicianship and the writing is fantastic. Every single song is going to make you bang your fucking head. just solid, solid death metal from Skeletal Remains. So, yep, Skeletal Remains, Fragments of the Ageless. Next up, we're going to go to Ecclesia with Ecclesia Militants. This is their second record. This is a French heavy metal doom band, and if you heard that first Ecclesia record and you really like that, I think you're gonna like this one too. There's nothing too different going on here, but you definitely know it's this band when you hear this album. So yeah, like I said, just really awesome heavy metal / doom from France. Good shit. Next up, we're gonna go to Coffins with Sinister Oath. I've talked on here about how big of a fan I am of Coffins. They're one of my favorite extreme metal bands from Japan, and one of my favorite bands from Japan in general. And if you know Coffins, they're definitely in the if it's not broke, then don't fix it category. They just continue to do what they do, and it's fucking fantastic. Just awesome death doom. And yeah, what else is there to say? It's Coffins, man. If you're familiar with Coffins, you're gonna get what you want. So yeah, Coffins, Sinister Oath, no brainer for me this year. Next up, we're gonna go to Dissimulator with Lower Form Resistance. This is released from 20 Buck Spin. Kind of similar to the Sovereign record a little bit. It's that mix of it's like technical, like death thrash, and has some elements of Cynic's Focus, where they do like those kind of like robotic kind of vocal parts here and there. So they throw that in there, and but yeah, it's like a mix of Voivod and Coroner with the more like death thrash kind of stuff thrown in there. Yeah, another killer release from 20 Buck Spin. 20 Buck Spin absolutely killed it this year. They put out so many fucking great albums this year, and Dissimulators Lower Form Resistance is definitely one of them. So yeah, Dissimulator. Next up, we go to Attic with Return of the Witchfinder, their third record. I was so anticipating the newest offering from Attic, and it does not disappoint. Just absolutely killer King Diamond inspired heavy metal that has elements of Hellstar at times, and USPM and at times as well, and also some more black metal vibes on this for sure. I definitely noticed that when they released their first single for the record, Darkest Rites. Yeah, I definitely noticed the black metal vibes were turned up a little more for this record. But yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. They're even at 50 minutes, there's not a single song to skip here, not a single dull moment. Just really, really killer stuff from Attic, from Germany, by the way. And this was released on Vaughn Records again, I believe. So yeah, the new Attic is absolutely fucking killer. Attic, Return of the Witchfinder. Next up, oh no, don't do this to me while I'm recording my video, please. Okay, we're good. I got it back. Yeah, my list is on my phone, so I can just make sure I'm going in order and everything here. Okay, apologies about that. Next up, we're going to go to Coffin Storm with Arcana Rising. This is the new band from Fenris, and I forgot what other members are in this band, but they're in other bands as well, from what I understand. Coffin Storm is just a really cool mix of all kinds of metal styles. You can't really box this and put it into one genre, for sure. There's elements of like, a lot of the 80s thrash stuff, or just, kind of taking you back to that time when metal didn't really have too many subgenres. You kind of just called it metal in a lot of ways at the time. And that's kind of what this album channels here. But killer riffs, there's definitely times on here where there's definitely some Manila Road type elements here and parts, and which is no surprise because Fenriz is apparently a huge fucking Manila Road fan. If you know, you Darkthrone fans have heard that song "Raised on Rock," where he says, "I got my own code. I sold my soul to Manila Road." So yeah, that was no surprise when I noticed those Manila Road elements on this record, which I thought was really really cool, of course. But yeah, the songs are great. Like I said, killer riffs here and a very very unique vocal performance from Fenriz. You're either gonna love it or hate it, probably. It's definitely a vocal performance that's a little out there, a little weirder, but for this, but it fits this music for sure. So yeah, Coffin Storm, Arcana Rising on Peaceville, by the way. Next up, we're gonna go to Witch Vomit with Funeral Sanctum. $20 spin again. I fucking love Witch Vomit. I love everything they've done so far, and this is just another killer album from them. I was definitely surprised when they dropped that track. Fuck, I can't remember what that single was called, but they had some really melodic guitar parts on that, which kind of threw me off. I was like, oh shit, is like Witch Vomit going the melodic route? But no, not really. They just did that for that one song, and then the rest of the record is just absolutely just fucking savage, sinister, gritty, gross death metal that you would expect from Witch Vomit if you've heard all their previous stuff. So yeah, with the exception of that track, bringing in some more melodic elements, no, they didn't really take the melodic route on this record. This is still just savage dark death metal from Witch Vomit that you would, as you would want. So yeah, Witch Vomit, Funeral Sanctum, absolutely killer. Next up, Century. This is a self-titled debut, and this is the new record from the last lineup from Manila Road, excluding Mark Shelton. I really really enjoyed this. I thought the songs were very well done. The performances were super tight and just awesome playing. And yeah, it's cool to hear them doing something after Manila Road has now disbanded, and it definitely has Manila Road elements for sure, as you would expect, but it doesn't really sound that much like Manila Road. They're definitely trying to sort of move on and not rest on their laurels too much, if that makes any sense what I just said. But yeah, this is a great record. I'm really eager to hear what they do with their future output. Yeah, Century, like I said, self-titled debut. I can't remember the label that this came out on. So yeah, sorry. Maybe it may have been Golden Core because that was the last label that Manila Road was using, so it might be the same. But yeah, if you are a Manila Road fan and you do enjoy these musicians, like I said, there's definitely stuff to enjoy here from Manila Road fans, but just don't expect it to sound that much like Manila Road. And I must also add that this guitarist that they added is fucking fantastic. He's really, really good. So, yeah. Next up, we're going to go to Vulture with Sentinels. Vulture is on Metal Blade now, I believe. But yeah, Vulture, German speed metal band. One of the best sort of current modern speed metal bands that are going right now. One of my favorites anyway. And yeah, Vulture are definitely, they're toning down the thrash more and more, it seems, with each release, and they're kind of just going for more like a heavy speed metal approach. And yeah, if you've enjoyed all the other previous Vulture records, I see no reason why you wouldn't like this one. But yeah, super killer. Breaks up the tempos enough to where it's not repetitive, but still gives you, the speed metal that you want and expect from Vulture. So, yeah, not sure what else to say. It's Vulture, it's speed metal, it's fucking loud, fast, heavy. You know what to expect from speed metal. So, yeah, Vulture, Sentinels, good shit. Next up, we're gonna go to Necrot with Lifeless Birth. Necrot is on Tank Crimes still, I believe. But yeah, I love the new Necrot. Once again, if you've heard previous Necrot records, you kind of know what you're getting into. Still the, very punk fueled, savage death metal. And yeah, it's just another great album from this power trio of death metalers from California. Just, yeah, just awesome stuff all around. I'm sure you're gonna see this on a lot of year-end lists. It definitely seems like it. Like a lot of most death metal fans definitely like this one a lot. So yeah, definitely gonna see it on many other year-end lists, not just mine. So Necrot, Lifeless Birth. Next up, we're gonna go to Castle Rat with Into the Realm. This is a New York-based doom heavy metal band, and this is some of the best Black Sabbath sounding, one of the best Black Sabbath sounding inspired bands I've heard in a long time. I believe I've talked about on here how I'm not a super big fan of like this like over fuzzed out guitar sound, and I really can't stand the productions of like Electric Wizard, or I'm not that crazy about Sleep, or any of the, I'll take Castle Rat over Sleep and Electric Wizard any day, or even like Church of Misery, which I know that would probably piss a lot of people off, but like I said, just the super over fuzzed out guitars just doesn't really do it for me. I'm okay with it in doses, and obviously I love Old Sabbath, so you would think I would like it more, but I don't know, just when some of these other bands do it, I just don't like it as much, and I usually don't like their album productions that they choose with it. But yeah, this Castle Rat record is fucking fantastic. Female vocalist, she's awesome, and she's also a rhythm guitarist as well. Just super fucking killer riffs, and kind of rides that line between old school doom metal and like that 70s rock kind of thing. So, but yeah, the production is definitely a little rough around the edges. It's definitely not a clean record by any means, but it's, I don't know. Like I said, I really, really enjoy this. One of the best Black Sabbath sounding bands I've heard in a long time, as I said previously. So yeah, love this record. It's their debut. I'm excited to see what they do next, and I would love to go see this band live because it looks like a lot of fun. They all dress up as these different, characters, and they even have someone in the band who just plays a character on stage as the Rat Reaperess, so she doesn't even play an instrument, but that's still really cool. So yeah, I would love to catch this band live. Their shows look like a lot of fun, and their performance and their playing is top notch. So yeah, good musicianship as well. So yeah, Castle Rat, Into the Realm. Take a drink of water here. Alrighty. Next up, we're going to go to Septage with Septic Worship, Intolerant Spree of Infesting Forms. Another $20 spin release. This is some gore grind from, I can't remember where they're from. Maybe like Copenhagen, I want to say, for some reason, but I could be completely wrong about that. But anyway, this is just some really cool, listenable gore grind. And that's what really appealed to me about this, is like if you took the idea of Carcass Recaputrefaction and you actually made it accessible and listenable, but not losing any of the fucking evilness and sinister nature and brutality and all that. But yeah, Septage definitely did it with this release. You got the chaos that you would expect from gore grind. The songs are short and sweet, of course, and yeah, it's kind of just one of those things where it doesn't overstay its welcome. You can play it over and over again. And it is definitely a very intense listen. So if you're not into gore grind, you're probably not going to like this. But maybe if you love a lot of extreme metal, and maybe you think you could handle a more accessible and listenable take on gore grind, go for it. I would highly recommend it. I really, really enjoyed this. So Septage with Septic Worship, Intolerant Spree of Infesting Forms. Next up, we are going to go to Crawl with Altar of Disgust. This is a Swedish death metal band. I really enjoyed their previous record that they put out to this. Shit. Rituals. That was it. Yeah, Crawl, Rituals. That was the previous one. And if you like the previous record, I see no reason why you wouldn't enjoy this one. It's more the same idea, just super, crusty Swedish field death metal. Just really, really good stuff. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. Solid Swedish death metal. You know what to expect with this style. Yeah, Crawl, Altars of Disgust. Next up, we're going to go to Morgul Blade with Heavy Metal Wraiths. This is released on No Remorse, I believe. This is their second record. This is just a really cool mix of like epic heavy metal with like, black metal elements, but mostly on the heavy metal side, for sure. This is a project out of Portland, Oregon, and just a really, really fun record with great riffs and, as I said before, really cool epic parts, and just I love the part on the track Heavy Metal Race where he goes, heavy metal fucking wraiths. Hard to, plenty of sing-along moments on here as well, which just makes it, really fun, a fun listen as well. But yeah, I love Morgul Blade. If you enjoyed the previous record, I think you're definitely going to like this one too. They don't change it up a whole lot. They basically just kind of stick to the same formula, but I think the songs might actually be a little better this time around. I don't know. They just kind of seem a little more memorable to me this time around. Like I said, more sing-along, catchy choruses this time around as well. So yeah, I think this is Morgul Blade's best record so far. I really, really, just a blast to listen to. Yeah, Morgul Blade, Heavy Metal Wraiths, killer cover art as well. Unfortunately, I don't do video editing, so I can't show you any album covers, especially if I don't own the physical format. And that is a disclaimer that I forgot to say at the beginning of this video. As you can see, I don't have much to show here. Once again, this was just another year where I did not get to buy, very many physical copies. Yeah, I'm talking way too fast here. But yeah, I just didn't get a chance to buy very many physical copies this year, but I did pretty much get to buy a digital copy of all this shit that I'm talking about. So yeah, I did still buy it in some way. But I do have a physical release for my album of the year. So that is something I at least wanted to make sure I did this year. Anyway, getting off track here. Yeah, so that was Morgul Blade, Heavy Metal Wraiths. Next up, we're going to go to... One second. Bear with me here. Okay, sorry. I'm gonna have to bring this. I get interrupted by a fucking ad. I'm so sorry about that. Sorry, you're gonna have to deal with that because I don't do editing. So, yeah. Anyway, Bronze, In Chains and Shadows. So this is a project out of Spain. Mina Walker, the vocalist. This band was previously known as Cramp. And this basically continues the sound of that band, but now that she and Cedric are partners, now, he's throwing his sound onto this record. And so you definitely get those Running Wild, Blazing Stone elements into this record, which I know Mina is a big fan of Running Wild as well. So yeah, if you like Running Wild and Blazing Stone, you're definitely going to get a lot of that in this record. But you can still tell that this is this isn't just like this doesn't just sound like Blazing Stone or anything like that. You can tell this is the same band, but it's definitely they've definitely changed up a few things. But I really, really love this record. I thought the production on it was fantastic, and just when I found out how much Mina did with this record, like the production, the artwork, and just all like the liner notes, and like she basically did it all, which is really, really cool, really, really impressive. I really appreciate all the hard work that she put into it. And yeah, of course it's cool to hear Cedric riffing and soloing on this thing, because Cedric is a absolute fucking treasure. I think he's one of the most underrated metal musicians right now. You know, especially because, you know, he's kind of more like in the underground. But yeah, more people need to know about Cedric and all his projects because he's fucking phenomenal. But yeah, really, really enjoyed this. My favorite track on here by far was The Tyrant Spell. That was one of my favorite traditional heavy metal tracks overall for this entire year. Just couldn't get enough of it. Kept playing it over and over again. And I really want to get the shirt for the Tyrant Spell artwork because that artwork in particular I really, really like. I kind of like it more than the cover that they chose for the record itself. But yeah, uh, uh, Bronze in Chains and Shadows, phenomenal fucking traditional heavy metal. If you're a traditional heavy metal fan, do not fucking skip on this by any means. Awesome stuff. Next up, we're going to go to Gatecreeper with Dark Superstition. I forgot what label Gatecreeper is on now. But this is the third Gatecreeper record. And, you know, definitely took more of the melodic route, which some people are definitely not too happy with. But, you know, still the Swedish death metal that you love from Gatecreeper. And I actually really enjoyed the single The Black Curtain because I really, really dug the Paradise Lost vibes that were on that song. I thought that was a really cool, you know, cool new thing vibe for this band. But yeah, if you're still looking for like, you know, just the fucking pummeling, crusty punk fueled Swedish death metal stuff, you're still gonna get that here, plenty. But yeah, the new Gatecreepers are really cool. I thought it was really, really good. So yeah, Gatecreeper, Dark Superstitions. Alright, see what we got next. Next up, we're going to go to Pallbearer, Mine Burns Alive. So, this, damn, I can't remember what label Pallbearer is on now either. But I know they're on a bigger label now because they left Profound Lore and everything. But anyway, this is the fifth? Yeah, this is the fifth full length from Pallbearer. And this was kind of another one that I feel I haven't seen a lot of people including this on their list this year. Not a whole lot of people talking about it. I think some people are definitely kind of disappointed with the kind of different direction and vibe that they went in for this record. But to me, honestly, it really doesn't feel that different, with the exception, you know, like they had the track, the single Where the Light Fades, which is more just kind of like a rock, you know, track with some heavy riffing kind of like at the end of the song. And you know, huge Pink Floyd vibes, even more so than what they've brought to their previous work. But yeah, there's still plenty of solid doom metal on here, and I've also heard a lot of people say that it doesn't sound that heavy. I would say listen again. These riffs are definitely heavy. There's definitely plenty of heavy stuff on here still. And yeah, I really don't think it's anything that different. So yeah, I think this is another solid album from Pallbearer. And the other thing that I want to mention about this record is this may not be album of the year, but this is the most important record of the year for me. I had a very rough first half of this year, and this record came out for me at the right time. So back in the summer, I'm just gonna say it, I did a lot of crying while putting this record on, and it definitely helped me get through those tough times. So yeah, like I said, may not be my favorite record of the year, but it was my most important listen that I did this year, and I'm very glad that I had this album to get me through those hard times. And you know, anytime I did finish listening to it, I did feel better. So yeah, like I said, a very important release for me personally this year. But yeah, like I said, I think Pallbearer are still continuing to just put out solid records. They're unbelievably talented musicians. They're great songwriters, and they're just continuing to showcase stronger and stronger songwriting as they continue to release new material. So yeah, I think this is a great record. So yeah, Pallbearer, Mine Burns Alive. And And I'm gonna stop after I talk about this one. My Dying Bride, Immortal Binding. So from what I've seen, My Dying Bride has been having a lot of internal problems for whatever reason with their members and everything, and I hope they get that straightened out. But I'm glad to see that they are still putting out very, very strong material. I really enjoyed this album. You know, just the gothic, death doom, masters from UK are still doing it, still putting out solid stuff. You know, Aaron's vocals still sound great and strong as ever. I really dug the violin work on here, and Aaron's growls combined with his singing. Like I said, his voice just sounds great overall. I think the songs are really good. All of them are pretty heavy and crushing, and but also still, of course, melancholic and melodic and very poetic. As Aaron's songwriting usually is. But yeah, like I said, I hope they get everything straightened out within the internal struggles of the band, and just continue to release great records like this one. So yeah, My Dying Bride, Immortal Binding. And I'm actually going to go ahead and stop here. So how many is that? That's about 24 albums on the list. So that's not quite halfway through, but I think maybe the next video I do, maybe I can do the whole other half and just make this a two-parter. Yeah, 2 videos for this list. But yeah, we'll see. But I think I can make it happen. Anyway, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and stop here now. I thank you very much for tuning in to part 1 of my favorite albums of 2024, and I hope you stick around for part 2. So, yeah, see you again very soon for part 2.